Hey guys, I'm back here again. Got another quick video here for you guys today. I got a failure analysis type video. This will be a no start situation because I can't have the machine hooked up right now because I have to have the thing hooked up and running while it's being demonstrated. So this is basically a we'll call it a tutorial about why machine won't start and run correctly for the customer's job over here for that. So we got a new job in over here this past morning here. This is a Ryobi pressure washer. It has the Honda GCV 190 overhead cam engine on here. The customer said they bought this machine about 2 years ago, and it was basically sitting in their garage, I guess, for the past year and a half, almost 2 years, because the guy told him he originally bought it, and he basically never got around to actually using the machine. So it was still in otherwise good to excellent shape, because he just simply let it in his garage, sit in the corner and never used it except for like one time when he first bought the machine. He cleaned off the side of his house, I guess, with it out there, and after that he just just let it sit somewhere in his garage. And he called us up over here and he was complaining the machine would not start for him over here, and he wanted have it brought over and have us check it out over here for that. So we said no problem, go ahead sir, and he brought it over here. And his main complaint was the machine would not basically start, and the other thing was it kept on surging quite badly out there for that, and it simply would not power up after the machine was sit there idling out there. It kept going boom 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 boom. It kept dying out on him, and he would not be able to allow to run the machine out there for that. So we found out he had about 3 problems on this one over here for that. The biggest problem was the engine over here. He had old gas in it, to say it lightly. The gas in the gas tank up here really stunk pretty bad up here. It looks like he might have had the original fill from like 2 years ago, and the gasoline smelled like turpentine up inside here. So it definitely needed the fuel system cleaned out and overhauled and rebuilt on here for that. The carb, it needs a new carb on it right now as well too. So he basically needs a engine tune-up. He needs a new carb on, a new intake gaskets. Clean out the fuel line, the tank on here. And the other problem he was having over here with the machine as well too was what it was doing. It was running extremely slow over here for that. And this machine right here, they have a newer feature that I haven't seen myself personally, because we really don't get a lot of pressure washers over here. I'd say on average we might get about maybe 20 or 30 per season out there. And this one has the it has an idle down feature on here as well too. It has an idle down feature in the front. I was looking at that thing, I was like, why would they have an idle down feature on here? And I went online and I researched it, and they're claiming it's supposed to keep the machine running at a slower speed when it's not being used, as opposed to having the machine running full speed, like 3,000 to 3,600 RPMs for the whole time. So it'll maybe take some load off the pump out there for that, because most people don't understand this is you're out there using your pressure washer out there, and you leave your water hooked up to it out there, and the machine's running 3,200 RPMs, and you leave it sit for maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes out there. Your pump on the machine down the bottom down here, I'll show you your pump on this one right here specifically. There's your pump right down inside down there. There you go, that's your little cheap Chinese pump on this one right here. What happens is, if you leave that thing running full speed out there with no load on it, your engine, or I should say your pump, is basically recycling the same water inside the pump on there. And what happens is that water is eventually going to start heating up inside the pump out there, because it's not being put through the pump and through up the wand up there as well too. And what happens is, over time, I say about 10 to 15 minutes later, your pump might start overheating down inside it, because it's not having water circulating through it to constantly keep it cool, because that's the only way the actual pump keeps itself cool and down inside it, because you have to have water constantly going through it in order for it to stay at a regulated temperature out there for that. They don't have any kind of radiator on your pump down there as well too, guys. So if you're gonna leave your machine sit for any length of time out there, my best advice would be to simply shut the machine off. Don't keep it running for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, because the reason I found out about that was we had a guy over here. He dropped the machine off about heck was it, about 3 or 4 years ago. He was doing like some kind of construction work out there, and he bought one of those cheap, cheap Walmart or Home Depot special machines. I can't remember what it was. It was like about probably $140, $150 machine. It was similar to this one right here. And what was going on was he was using a pressure washer for cleaning off, heck was it, like sidewalks and a bunch of other stuff out there for that. And one day he left the machine to simply run full speed out there, and he didn't shut the machine off because he had to go answer the phone or something like that. And the machine was just running out there for a good, I'd say, about 35 to 40 minutes. And he came back out here, and he found out the machine just basically stopped, and he had a full tank of gas in the machine right there. And he reached underneath there to check the pump out and see if something might have happened or something got clogged up, or something. He wanted to figure out what was going on with the pump and why it just quit running out there. So he checked the oil in the engine. The oil was perfectly fine. And what happened was the pump, it was running so long without any kind of water going through the pump system down there. The pump eventually seized down inside it because of the excess heat generated from the water not circulating through the pump's internal structure, and therefore that. So that's one total failure that was caused by a customer who did not follow the advice in your typical owner's manual, because I'm pretty sure most, if not all, owner's manuals for your pressure washers clearly tell you to not let the machine idle or run without being used all the time, because you have to have the water going through the machine out there for that in order for the pump to remain at a optimal temperature. Because if it doesn't stay down at a low temperature, the pump may go bad on these machines out there for that, guys. So that's my what call telltale machine. If you're going to leave the machine running out there for any length of time, it's like shut it off after 3 or 4 minutes out there. Just shut the machine off, and just come back out and start it back up when you want to use it. Blow off your driveway, stuff like that out there. But don't leave it run for an excessive amount of time. And therefore that, if you want to verify what I'm saying, do some research online. Also look in your owner's mail. I'm pretty sure your owner's mail is going to have something similar to what I'm talking about not leaving your machine running under a full load, because typically these machines are running about 29, 3,000, 3,200 RPMs the whole time, while the thing's not being used with any kind of water coming out the end at the end of the wand right there for that. And because of that, the water, like I said before, is keep on circulating down inside the pump out there, and the water has nowhere to go. So eventually, it's going to heat up down inside there, and by causing that heat, it's going to cause a failure of the pump down there for that. And that's why I'm just trying to be totally honest about it with that. Because from what we had from people in the past, that one guy, that was a real horror story right there. And the problem is a lot of these cheap machines out there, like the $140 ones, these pumps, they're all made in China out there, and it's simply not economical to put a new one on it, because the pumps, I mean, the last time I checked for some of these machines, there was like 70, 80, 90 bucks for some of these cheap ones out there. And you can go out and buy a brand new machine like this at wholesale price at the end of the season for maybe about 120, 130 bucks out there. So it's really not economical and cost effective to replace the pump when you can just go out and buy a whole brand new machine for like 120, 130 bucks at the end of the season, when they have like a rebate or end of season special or something out there. It's just not economical out there for that. So getting back to the machine on here, it has the idle down feature on here as well too, guys. What they have done for that is you have a cable going from the pump down here. They have like an unloader valve right down here at the bottom here. You have this cable right down inside down here, and this cable goes in and out down inside the pump right down here for that, and the cable goes up to the top of the carb over here. So we'll go ahead and flip this. I should say the actual linkage for the governor. Sorry about that. Let me flip this around here. This should give you a better shot. Okay, here we go. You have a rod right here. See that rod? There's the rod where it comes up from the actual pump right there. And what that thing does is it pulls back your governor linkage on here. Typically, right now, I have the thing removed on here. I put a new, brand new spring right here for the governor, because the old spring was partially bent. So he put the spring in the original default position, and typically the spring should be going onto this little rod down here. Let me see if I can get a better finger shot. This little golden rod right here, you have a little hole going through it right here, and your spring right here, this thing would be going through that little hole right here. You can adjust this cable right here. This cable is fully adjustable, so it will go in and out on here. You can adjust the piece right here. It's a like a little plastic or nylon bushing right here, and you have a little screw on top of this piece right here for that. So you have a little screw you can adjust right down here, and you can move the cable in and out of this housing right here to adjust the idle speed on the machine right here for reference points. I just want you to touch base with that because we haven't seen one of these machines ever over here. So this is like the first time we've seen a machine with this one feature on it, because most machines don't ever have this type of idle down type of feature on here as well too. So you can basically take that thing off if you don't like it yourself, and simply put the spring back to the default position on here for that. As long as your spring's not bent or messed up on here, the original default position is right there where your spring goes right here. You get the front piece right up here where my finger's pointing right there. It's going right onto that one little hook area right there, guys. So you can see the front portion. So you can take it out of this piece right here and stick it in there, and do that if you don't like the idle down feature on your machine right here for that. Me personally, I just think it's a unnecessary something added on the machine. It's not really needed, but I can understand why they came up with it, because they want the machine to maybe last longer on a full tank of gas out there for that. So if they have the idle down feature, the machine should last longer running out there when it's idling down, and you're not under any kind of a constant load using it out there for that. So that's one reason why they probably came up with it, because they want to save some gas and save some time while you're using it out there, not under any kind of full load cycling out there for that. So like I said before, you can take it off there and put it back to the original default position. You simply have to pull the governor's linkage spring out of the piece right here. You have a little hole going through the end of this piece. It looks like a little barrel basically. It has a little hole going through it. And you simply take it out of this hole right in the end here, and you push it back up into the original default position hole right here for your governor linkage right there for that. And once you do that, you can basically override the idle down feature on here for that, guys. So the other thing was, it looked like somebody might have been messing with this thing as well too, because this piece right here in the back where it comes out of your block down here, this thing was indeed bent on here as well too. So we had to bend it back to the original default position, because this tang right here was it was basically bent up, and it was not allowing the engine to run at a correct RPM on their full load out there for it. Because typically these machines will be running at about 29 to 3,000 RPMs. That's the like a factory default safe setting out there for that, and it was running about like 21, 22 underneath there. I'm thinking, who was messing with this thing before? Because this thing, like I said before, this tang right here where the other portion of the spring goes, this front portion right here was indeed bent up on here, and it was causing the machine to run too slow. And because of that, it wasn't idling correctly. And the other thing is the carb, like I said before, it needs to be totally taken off and cleaned out, or simply replaced. Therefore, that us personally, we just take the carb off, put new intake gaskets, clean the tank out. Because these carbs, guys, they're only like 15, 20, 25, 30 bucks out there. Most of the time, these carbs, they can be had on eBay for about anywhere between 15 and about 25 bucks, depending on which your specific application is for your machine. So that's a quick rundown of all the stuff that was wrong with this Honda powered pressure washer here from Ryobi. So we'll get another shot of the front here. This is before. This is a 2018 machine. You can tell by they have a newer revised valve cover on the front here as well too. And on the other side over here, you have the information tag right here as well too, down here on the right hand side if you're looking at from the back. So you have the date of manufacture right down here. It says 6/15/18 right there for that. So let me see, and zoom in here and show you a better shot here. Okay, give me a better angle. Sorry about that. There we go. There's your information tag, your serial number, and the date of manufacture. And you also have your EPA compliance BS stuff up in the back, up here on the engine. You'll have the 250 hours compliance period. And it says registration or regulations, I should say, for 2018 right here as well too. So not certified for in the European Union. And you have your information here. It's a 2018 spec engine right here as well too, guys. So that's everything about the machine here. Like I said before, I'm sorry I couldn't fire it up here to show you what was going on, because the thing keeps on dying out for us over here. So just want to give you a failure analysis of why the machine wasn't running and what needs to be done for it to run correctly. So hopefully we have parts on order right now for the machine, and we should have the parts probably in about I'd say about 5 days from today. So today's Friday, so hopefully we should have the machine ready to go sometime late next week if my Honda supplier ships the part out probably on Monday, and we'll probably have them here by Friday for that. So if anybody has any comments, questions, whatnot, as usual, drop me a message here, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible with a quick quick help answer or something like that, guys. I'll see you. Have a nice day.